keep dreaming, but I'm gonna pursue mine. It's showtime. It's showtime. Put the spotlight on me. Give me a mic. It's showtime. It's showtime. It's showtime. You can keep dreaming, but I'm gonna pursue mine. It's showtime. It's showtime.
First of all, thank you for ordering my DVD. Inside this DVD, you're going to learn a few of the many techniques that I'm going to be teaching in my full Showtime striking system. In this DVD, you're going to learn the Showtime kick, which was made famous by Ben Henderson in the last round of our WBC fight. Also, my most recently Showtime knee that I landed in the Donald Cerrone fight on UFC on Fox. Again, thank you for ordering this DVD. If you want more information about my full striking system, you can check it out at showtimestriking.com. I want to hear everybody's feedback, so make sure you hit me up on my Facebook and my Twitter. Let me know what you guys think. I look forward to hearing your feedback.
You can keep dreaming, but I'm gonna pursue mine. It's showtime. It's showtime. Put the spotlight on me. Give me a mic. It's showtime. It's showtime. It's showtime. You can keep dreaming, but I'm gonna pursue mine. It's showtime. It's showtime.
Alright guys, let's go ahead and break down the jab cross hook, or the 1-2-3 combo, I like to call it. First thing I want to get into is stance. Stance is very key. When we're throwing these punches, our stance is so important. I'm on the ball with my back foot. I'm always low in my stance. The lower I am, the longer I can reach. That creates my combo to be more effective, because I can hit from this far, or I can hit them this close, depending on what my opponent's doing. Also, I don't want to be tight with my hands. My hands got to be loose, and they got to be resting right on top of my chest. If I'm resting on my chest, that's where that pop comes from. When I pull my punch back first, it makes my combo really slow. In the system, we're going to break every punch down separately. The jab by itself, the cross by itself, the hook by itself. And we really get into detail on how to throw these punches and how to use these punches to set up kicks. I mean, not only the big jump kicks, the big spin kicks, just the basic kicks, how to set up for a low kick, how to set up for a takedown, just the basic things that make the punches effective. So really a big thing I want to talk about is stance. When we're in our stance, we're on the ball of that back foot, I'm resting my arms right on my chest, and I'm loose. When I'm tight, it makes my combo tight, it makes me slow. I don't want to be slow. All my punches are done fast. The power comes from, like in traditional martial arts, the twist of the wrist. When you twist that wrist, that's where the power comes from. It creates that impact on the jaw, makes the brain shake, it gives us the result we're looking for. So I'm on the ball of this back foot, my hands are rested right on my chest, I'm nice and loose. Remember, the lower I am, the longer I can get. I don't want to be so low, I just want to be that comfortable low where I can reach my opponent's face without having to be this close. If I'm this close, now I'm in punching range, he can hit me back. So what I really focus on in my striking is being long enough where I can hit him and he can't hit me back. If I can get this off and he tries to hit back, boom, I can combo with my kicks, I can combo with my takedown. So as you can tell, stance is very important for me when I'm striking. So let's get into the jab cross hook, or the 1-2-3 is what I like to call it. So when we're throwing that jab, remember again, we're really long, the power comes from the twist of the wrist. So I don't want to pick up first and then punch. It all comes from being the ball of my foot. The power is going to travel from the ball of my foot to my hip, to my shoulder, to my wrist as I twist. So as you feel it, and once you start punching, you'll start feeling it a little bit better. You start hitting the bags, you'll feel how the power comes from the floor, and it doesn't come from my body. It comes from the floor, the stance, pop right to the hand. So first we're going to go with that jab. With the jab is the finder punch. It can be a power punch also, but right now we're going to use it as a finder punch. I'm going to find my opponent's head. The cross is more of a power punch, and the hook, more of a power punch. So we got to set down on these punches. So I'm on the ball of my foot, we got the jab, cross, hook. 1, 2, 3, and they're all done with the twist of my wrist. That's where the power is coming from. You see a lot of guys punch like this, slow. Anybody can punch that way, and it's going to get you tired. The bigger I punch, the more energy I'm using, the quicker I'm going to get tired. The more clean I am with my technique, and the more I pop, the more safe I am from takedowns. Whenever I'm exposing myself with a big hook, I'm exposing myself for takedowns. If I expose myself with a big hook, low kick all day, when you're fighting a good striker, the cleaner you are and the more crisp you are, the safer you are. So I like to be safe when I fight. I don't like to get hit a lot, so focusing on that when we punch is key. Coming from the stance. All of it comes from the stance and the twist of our wrist. So again, let's go down. Jab, cross, hook. Now if I want to set up a takedown with my jab, cross, hook, I want to blitz with my hands. I want to get my hands going fast, so he's thinking about that. Opens up that opening for that low kick. All I'm looking to do is get his hands up. So that's my cue. If I punch, and I see his hands go high, where he's protected, he's open for a low kick, he's open for a takedown. There's so many things I can do by getting his hands high. I can also throw the combo at a different pace. We can go 1, 2, 3. We can go 1, 2, 3. We can go 1, 2, big 3, takedown. So many different things to do with just 3 punches. And also a 1, 2, 1. If my opponent's backing up, instead of throwing this 3 as a hook, I can go 1, 2, 1. It's still a 1, 2, 3 combo. I just changed that last hook into a jab. So just not getting too much detail, guys. There's so many things you can do with a 1, 2, 3 combo. In the system, we'll show you how to set up, all the flashy kicks, all the big takedowns, all the things people like to see me throw. They call it the Showtime style, but it all comes from a solid stance. The right set of punches, not throwing big punches, not throwing big kicks, and just making it effective for MMA.
It's showtime. Put the spotlight on me. Give me a mic. It's showtime. It's showtime. It's showtime. You can keep dreaming, but I'm gonna pursue mine. It's showtime. It's showtime.
All right, guys, let's get into one of the flashier moves with our hands, a spin back fist. One of the moves that you can throw to really surprise your opponent. The way I like to set up my spin back fist is with my punches. I want to make sure that I'm getting my opponent to bite on a certain move. This move, you always got to read your opponent's cues. If your opponent's trying to back you up, or if your opponent's how he's defending the first combo, really sets the tone for what you can do with the punches. So for me, I like to set it up with just a 1, 2, and I just probe with my punches. I'm not really trying to create big impact and make him think about the 1, 2. I want him to get comfortable defending it or get comfortable seeing the 1, 2 come at him. So I'm just probing with the 1, 2, and I'm reading how he reacts. If he reacts by moving back, not a great time to throw a spin back fist. If he reacts by balling up, good time to throw a spin back fist. Or if he's trying to parry my punches. A lot of guys, when they throw the 1, 2, they try to parry the punches or try to hold the punches with their hands, leaving their chin really exposed. That's what you're looking for to throw that spin back fist. So again, we're parrying with 1, 2. We're just probing. When I feel comfortable to go, I throw the jab and I purposely miss and I step my foot off to the side. I'm doing all this in one motion. The more I can do in one motion, the faster the technique's going to be thrown and the more effective it's going to be. So I'm throwing that 1, 2, I'm probing. As I step with the jab, I purposely miss. I'm spinning and leading with my eyes, making sure I can see my opponent's chin or where I'm throwing it. I don't want to just blindly throw a spin back fist. I want to make sure I can see what I'm aiming for, which is his chin. So as I step, boom, I'm aiming for that chin. All I'm doing is trying to snap this fist down on that chin. I don't want to hit with the back of my hand with MMA gloves. It creates like it looks good, but it creates like a pushing punch. It creates one of these punches. I want to create that impact. By doing that, I just twist my fist down right on that chin. I'm looking to hit either the chin, the temple, but that impact is what creates the effect we're looking for, which is a knockout. So again, I'm probing with the 1, 2, and I feel like I'm ready to go, or if he's giving me the cue of either parrying with his hands or balling up, that's when I'm gonna step, throw that spin back fist, chop right down, a little motion just like that, and making sure I'm not going through it. If I go through it, my feet get twisted up. I don't know I can't defend from here. I can get taken down very easy from here. A lot of bad things can happen from that position. So I like to step through it. 1, 2, spin back fist, either get back into my good stance, or I spin. If I get the impact I'm looking for, I spin out of it and I'm back in a safe position. So big things about the spin back fist, making sure our opponent gives us the right cues when we're probing with our 1, 2, or even probing with, anything you feel comfortable probing with. If your jab's your thing, you can do it with the jab. Get him thinking about the jab. If he's biting on the jab, just with that first jab, boom, really fast, spin back fist, making sure that when I'm done with my technique, reloading right back to my stance or following through if he's moving backwards. Biggest things is focusing on that twist at the end of the wrist, creating the impact that makes the knockout happen, not creating that push, not going through your opponent or past your opponent, and setting it up. You got to set it up. You got to use some punches. Make sure you read what your opponent's doing, and not being afraid to go for it. All these moves, you have to be confident in your skills to either recover quickly or attack. You got to be confident. You can't be scared to go for a spin back fist or throw a little soft spin back fist. It has to be very confident and done, rightfully to create the impact you're looking for.
You can keep dreaming, but I'm gonna pursue mine. It's showtime. It's showtime. Put the spotlight on me. Give me a mic. It's showtime. It's showtime. It's showtime. You can keep dreaming, but I'm gonna pursue mine. It's showtime. It's showtime.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and break down the high kick. There's so many different ways how to throw a high kick. So many different versions. My high kick kind of comes from my Taekwondo background and kind of Duke Rufus's kickboxing, kind of combined into one. And the way I think I'm successful with my kicks is how I set them up. I really try to get my opponent to react to my other techniques, and it allows me to create that opening for that split-second high kick. I'm not really looking for results. If you're looking for results for your kicks, you're never going to get a knockout, a high kick knockout. It's always just throwing them. You throw them out there, you bait them, see what happens, and most likely, all of my knockouts come from softer kicks. I never hit anybody with a knockout, a high kick as hard as I can throw it and it knocks them out. It's more of the setup kick that catches them, and that's the kick you're looking for. You're looking for that kick that lands. That's the one that creates the impact and creates that knockout to happen. So, setting up the high kick, one of my favorite ways to throw the high kick is off the southpaw stance, and you can even do it in the orthodox stance with the switch kick. You see it all the time done. This is the switching of the legs. The kick comes up, the turning of the hips, because that's where the power comes from, and getting right back down to your stance. But the thing I throw into it is my head positioning. A lot of guys, when I kick, they stand straight up so I can throw the kick off. Very easy for my opponent to read. It takes so much time. So when I'm throwing my kicks, I'm using my punches to get his hands busy. I can throw some low kicks in there just to get him thinking about other things. And my head stays the same. If I can keep my head staying the same, I'm not popping up, and you can see that happen when I throw this kick. I have a higher percentage of landing these kicks. So my head stays low, and I even keep my head even lower, because if my head's low, he doesn't think the kick's coming. And that's when I kind of get them up, crazy high kicks. If my head's down low, the switch happens fast, the kick happens quick, and it's the proper technique on how to execute the kick what creates the knockout. In the system, we break down every kick. We talk about how to land it, how to set it up, very detailed on how to throw every kick. But I just wanted to give you guys a little teaser on how to throw the high kicks correctly and show you how I throw my high kicks. So again, if I'm looking for a back leg high kick, I'm throwing my punches, even thinking about that. My head has to stay low, or my head has to stay in an angle where he wouldn't expect the kick to come. So I'm throwing my right hand, kick comes right off the top of that, boom. It's that impact right at the end. Just like when I punch, I'm looking for that same impact when I kick. It's just a twist of my hip and my foot, which creates that over the top, boom, impact. Keep your hands down. That's what we're looking for. Just dipping right to that neck. And most guys can't even see that coming. It sneaks in there so fast. Or I'm setting them up with my hands, which just sneaks in there really fast. And it allows me to get back to my stance. And I'm not worried about takedowns. I'm not worried about over-kicking. When I over-kick, that's when I get taken down. Like we had a fight, I was over-kicking, I got taken down a lot. We fixed that mistake by really understanding, when I'm kicking, it's just that impact, that's all I need. That's enough to create a knockout. Anything more than that, I'm doing too much, I'm gonna get myself tired.
You can keep dreaming, but I'm gonna pursue mine. It's showtime. It's showtime. Put the spotlight on me. Give me a mic. It's showtime. It's showtime. It's showtime. You can keep dreaming, but I'm gonna pursue mine. It's showtime. It's showtime.
All right, guys, the next technique I want to break down is the spin hook kick. The hook kick will actually be broken down in the system in very detail on how you create the hook on your foot and how to create the impact we're looking for. Everybody can throw high kicks, everybody can throw spin kicks, but the people that are effective with it, get the results. So a lot of my knockouts come from my kicks. It's because I'm really looking for the detail in setting the kick up or the detail in landing the kick. I'm not just throwing kicks, for no reason. They all have a purpose. And in the system, we break it down when to throw it, how to throw it, and how to make it very effective for MMA. But let's get into breaking down the spin hook kick. Very flashy move. I just want to demonstrate it once so you guys can see it. Then I'm going to break it down and get into detail on how we throw this kick. Now it's one of the moves that takes a lot of practice. It takes some time, takes a lot of timing, a lot of time on the bags before you get comfortable throwing and sparring, and then throwing into a fight. But a very effective kick. I use it a lot in my techniques, and the way I like to set it up and the way I like to use it is getting my opponent backing up. So when I'm in my fight stance, all my stuff comes from a very good solid stance. If I'm in a good stance, I can throw these kicks. I adjust my stance a little bit for my spin hook kick. If I'm in my traditional boxing stance, I'm kind of hiding my foot. So you notice, my traditional boxing stance and my fight stance, I can defend takedowns good from here. When I get my opponent backing up and at my range, I can loosen up a little bit and I change my stance just a little bit so my feet are more adjusted for spinning. If I'm here, it's very hard to spin. It's going to take a lot of movement to make the spin happen. When I'm getting comfortable and my opponent's at range, I adjust my stance just a little bit. Now my legs are opened up to make this kick happen faster. So it's just one solid motion. The kick comes around and you're looking to get to your opponent's head or whatever you're looking to aim for. So the way I like to set that up is with my legs. I like to use inside kicks. I like to use long jabs, just to get him at my range where I can't hit him with my power punches, but I can hit him with my kicks. And the more I can get him backing up, and I see him running, the more likely I'll throw a spin hook kick. If he's holding his ground really strong, when I'm throwing my punches or I'm throwing my kicks, I don't want to throw a spin hook kick because it's going to be really hard to land that. I'll hit with the cap or something else. I want to hit with that heel, and that creates that impact we're looking for again to knock our opponent out or to land on the chin. So I want to get him backing up. I want to get him running for me, and that's when we can throw that spin hook kick. So either using a long jab, inside kick, side kick, a lot of kicks that we're going to break down in the system and actually show you how to set this kick up. In detail on how to set this kick up. But like I said, we use the jab, we use the inside kick, we use the side kick. Anything that I see my opponent doing this kind of movement, that's cue for me to throw that spin hook kick. So whether it's the jab, whether it's the side kick, whether it's the switch kick, whatever I see that head pulling back, that's cue for my spin hook kick. And like I said, the biggest thing is stance. I don't want to be here when I throw that kick. I want to be more of this stance, so I have to be at a long range. So key is when I throw it, I'm spinning, I'm looking, leg just comes right from the ground, up and over, and down. And it throws a little hook at the end. That's why we call it the spin hook kick. I leave my leg straight. I kind of flow around too far. It takes too long to get back to my fight stance. When I hook that leg, it creates that impact. I'm really fast right back in my stance in case the takedown's coming, in case he's attacking me. It's a little safer way to throw it. You see a lot of guys throw the heel kick, but it's a slower kick. Same results, but it's slower and it's more dangerous. So when I throw my spin hook kick again, I set up with the punches. Somehow I get him backing up, pulling, hide that leg just a little bit so I can throw that spin. Comes, spin the leg, right back down to my fight stance.
You can keep dreaming, but I'm gonna pursue mine. It's showtime. It's showtime. Put the spotlight on me. Give me a mic. It's showtime. It's showtime. It's showtime. You can keep dreaming, but I'm gonna pursue mine. It's showtime. It's showtime.
All right, let's get into one of the more recent moves I used, the Showtime knee. I just used it in the Cowboy Cerrone fight. I actually wasn't planning on throwing a knee. These things just kind of happen. I think when you're in the zone and your basics and your solid foundation is there, you can start doing different crazy moves. So you really have, like I said, you gotta have strong basics. You gotta have really good stance, really good structure to get creative and throw these moves, at a high level where I'm throwing them at. But the Showtime knee, let's break it down. Let's go through it and how I set it up and how it's used and how I was supposed to use it or how I meant to use it and how I improvise. So the way you're supposed to throw a Showtime knee, I just want to demonstrate it. This is the way we practice it in the gym. Always getting your opponent somehow thinking about your hands, getting them close to the cage. That's always the cue for any kind of off the cage move. I gotta have him think about my hands or my legs. If he's thinking about my kicks, like a high kick, and he's blocking, he's getting away from the cage. That's cue, like the Henderson fight. I had him thinking about the high kick. The cage is close. That's when you can throw the crazy moves, the off the cage moves. But the way we practice the Showtime knee in the gym, which I think is more effective than what I did, but I kind of had to improvise because Cerrone backed up a certain way. So the way we practice it is we go off the cage. We get them thinking about our hands. We jump off the cage with one leg, so the opposite leg comes on the cage, and I just come up with my opposite knee to the opponent's head. So again, I get them thinking about my hands, push them on the cage, boom. And I'm just using the cage to get a little more leverage. The higher I get, the less I got to worry about him punching me. It looks cool and it's very effective. It's not the traditional, jump knee, boom. A lot of guys see that happening. It's easy to circle away from that, easy to block that. When you don't see these moves coming at you, you never see somebody jump off the cage and throw a knee. It's hard to defend that stuff because you've never seen it before. So the right way, or the way we practice the Showtime knee, again, we're making them thinking about our hands, boom, boom. I gotta have the cage behind him, that's cue for me to go. And I gotta make sure he's not attacking. If I get him by the cage and I see him getting ready to throw a big punch, don't throw a knee, don't throw a kick. Defend that first and then set up the next move. So setting up the traditional Showtime knee, get him on the cage, cues, I see that cage behind him, boom, knee to the face. Always landing in a good solid stance or using my hands. In the Cowboy Cerrone fight, I threw the same side knee, so I'll go ahead and explain that one. The reason why it happened that way, I was using my hands to set him up in the southpaw stance. He was defending well and had a very high posture, so I gave him a push to the cage, I didn't have the room to jump off this way to get that knee, so I just improvised. Same side, boom, knee to the face. It's kind of even hard to do here and explain it. It's just, like I said, one of the things that happens when you have that solid core, that solid foundation, you can improvise on the spot and make techniques happen. Let's go to the traditional Showtime knee. That's the one it's more practical to use and easier to teach. Always getting your opponent thinking about your hands, making sure I use my hands to get him on the cage. Give him a little bump. That bump that I give him comes from the ground. I just give him a bump, push his arms up. That gives him something to think about. If I just go for the knee, he can punch, he can take me down, he can defend. But when I give him that little bump, he has to respect that he has to defend that. That gives me that time to throw that knee. So I walk him down, give him that little bump. When I'm ready to go, boom, land right back in that good stance. Either punch, defend takedowns, making sure that I'm always safe. Whenever we're going for big moves, we got to make sure we're safe before we throw them. If I throw a big move and I get countered, I kind of look stupid for throwing something crazy. So we got to make sure we have a good solid core, good solid base, understanding how to land right, understanding how to get the combos off, defending, and really reading my opponent. If I see him getting ready to punch, don't go off the cage. Give him that bump, something to think about while I'm going off the cage.
It's showtime. Put the spotlight on me. Give me a mic. It's showtime. It's showtime. It's showtime. You can keep dreaming, but I'm gonna pursue mine. It's showtime. It's showtime.
All right, guys. The next technique I want to get into is the infamous Showtime kick. I've done it numerous of times in practice, but I think the most famous time is against Ben Henderson. Title fight, last round. Couldn't happen at a better time, and it was a perfect ending to the WC Championship. And I want to get into how to set that kick up and how to create that kick to create the effect that you're looking for with that kick. So one of the biggest things, let's get into the Henderson fight. It was done very late in the fight. I set him up with a lot of high kicks, right leg high kicks, and he was defending them very well. So I had to think out the box, do something a little bit different to land something. So that's why I chose to go off the wall and throw the Showtime kick. But let's get into how to set it up and how to make it work and what cues to look for when you're throwing the Showtime kick. You can't just come out in a fight and run off the wall and kick somebody in the head and expect for it to work. You got to set it up. You got to get your opponent, not thinking about the cage and really defending a kick or really thinking about something where he's backing up away from the cage to land this kick. So I used the right leg high kick. Henderson was a southpaw, so that's why I chose the right leg high kick. You can use, so many moves. You can use a body kick. You can use punches. You can use, inside kicks, low kicks, anything that can get create that my opponent backing away and circling a lot more and me stalking him more. That's the moves you want to use. So whatever you can use is stalk your opponent, get him respecting you and moving away. That's when you can throw the kick. You never want to throw the kick when your opponent's attacking you or he's by the wall looking for takedowns because it won't work to what you're looking to do. So let's get the way I set it up. First was just a basic high kick. I use that high kick. Man, think about that right leg high kick block and notice that when I throw the kick, I'm really long with it. If I try to throw that inside kick, I'm stalking. It's a different style that he's looking for. He'll be moving away back further. When I throw the long kick, he doesn't expect another technique to come. That's what I set it up off of. If you notice that I throw the high kick, and right off that I threw the Showtime kick. So again, setting it up and looking for the right cues. Let's get into the kick itself. The biggest thing is not running off the wall and jumping up. You don't want to jump up when you throw this kick. You want to jump out and towards your opponent. Like I said, he's going to be backing up, and you want to be able to beat him to that mark. So when you're jumping off the wall, first you always got to keep your sights on your opponent. You can't take your eyes off, do this, and land a kick. You always have to be looking at your opponent, knowing where he's going, knowing how far I got to use the cage. I got to make sure I know how springy this cage is and how far it's going to launch me. So I'm watching my opponent. I either set him up with my kicks. I'm using the wall to spring off of, same foot. Use the ball of your foot. Don't ever go flat-footed. It's going to hurt your foot. It's going to hurt. It's not going to be enjoyable. And you're most likely going to slide off if it's a wet cage. So I'm going to ball that foot. When I'm ready to go, I adjust the distance. I'm springing outwards, a little bit up, but not straight up. Outwards, and creating that kick to come right off my opponent's head. Ideally, you want to hit with the shin. If I hit with the shin, that creates the most impact. And I don't care who they are, they're going to go to sleep. If you hit with the foot, it still creates a big impact, but it's not what you're looking for. So again, we're setting them up with the high kicks. When I'm ready to go, I keep my eyes on my opponent. I just take a step over, off the cage. So again, the step is left, right off the cage, right to the target. Now the steps is where that power comes from. If I just run to the wall, do this, I'm not gonna get that same power. It's just this left step over, now the right comes right to the wall. That creates that impact. So I'm stepping, going to the wall, right off the cage. So I'm in my good stance, I'm very loose. He doesn't know what I'm gonna be doing. Step over, off the wall, boom, and that's what makes it fast. If I don't do that step like that, it doesn't make it fast enough to get your opponent off guard.
You can keep dreaming, but I'm gonna pursue mine. It's showtime. It's showtime. Put the spotlight on me. Give me a mic. It's showtime. It's showtime. It's showtime. You can keep dreaming, but I'm gonna pursue mine. It's showtime. It's showtime.
Hey, it's Ben Askren here, Bellator welterweight champion. Work out with Anthony every single day. I think he's as high level as it gets for striking in mixed martial arts. He's got that karate background, and he's done a lot of kickboxing also. It's very unique, his style. I think it's a lot different than anything else anyone's done, and it's really smooth too. He's got a lot to teach anyone who wants to learn anything about striking in MMA.
Hi guys, I'm Diego Moraes from Brazil. I'm in Rufo Sport MMA, and I have a great pleasure in saw the Anthony's training, man. He's amazing. He's a real Showtime man. I love him. I love your work with him.
This is Eric, featherweight contender in the UFC. Anthony's fighting style, man, what can I say? You can't emulate it. That's why he's where he's at for a reason, man. That's why he's doing what he's doing. Not only is he successful with it, but you know he changes it up and it gives some people something new and refreshing to look at. And you know it's just an honor to train with him every day. Makes me better, makes all our guys better, and I think you know just a part of him and his style and how he's built it. You see a bunch of our other guys throwing unorthodox stuff and throwing some new stuff in the mix.
What's up, man? This is Chico Camus out of Rufo Sport Martial Arts. I want to let you know that my man Anthony Pettis is one of the most dynamic strikers in the game. He switches up everything every fight. He never comes the same. The angles that he picks, his whole game plan, the way that he does everything. Anthony Pettis Martial Arts, his style helped me in my fights and all around every time I've stepped in the octagon of the cage. Hey Pettis, man, one of the best strikers in the game. Holla at him.